10 years. That's how long I've owned this 1970s Land Rover Series 2A station wagon. What was supposed to be a fun little summer project somehow turned into a decade-long journey full of breakdowns, setbacks, delays, and a few disasters along the way. But today, it finally starts again. And this time, I'm determined to finish it. I bought a Series back in January 2016 after spotting it on eBay. The plan was simple: buy it, tidy it up over the summer, and enjoy driving it. Easy, right? That's what I thought. Well, the Land Rover had other ideas. It didn't even make it home before my very first breakdown. Being a 2.25 petrol, it wasn't exactly overflowing with power anyway, but suddenly I had none at all. I ended up stranded at the side of the road waiting for the AA. Thankfully, it was only an ignition problem. The points had failed, and the patrol fitted a temporary condenser just to get me home. It was my first lesson in classic Land Rover ownership, and certainly not my last. Once I got it home, I did what everyone else does with a new project. I went straight online and started buying parts. The first upgrade was replacing the old point ignition with electronic ignition. I was full of enthusiasm until life got in the way. Work became busy, family commitments took priority, and before I knew it, the Series had been pushed back into the barn. By December 2016, I'd accepted that I simply didn't have the time to do everything myself, so I contacted a local Land Rover specialist who agreed to collect it and get it mechanically sound. He repaired the bulkhead, sorted the engine, and got it running properly. Everything seemed to be heading in the right direction until he started looking closely at the chassis. The top rails were badly rusted, much worse than anyone expected. He wasn't confident it could be safely repaired and recommended replacing the chassis completely. The Series wasn't my only project vehicle. I had a Land Rover Discovery 2 TD5, started turning into an overlander, roof tent, things like that, took it away to a lot of Land Rover shows, and that's great fun, and I've still got that now. I also had a Mini R53, which got that quite excited, wanted something that's small, little pocket rocket, little supercharged. So I did a lot of work on that. First thing I did was service the supercharger. That needed to be done, it's never been done before in that car. Also changed the timing chain. First time I've done a timing chain in any vehicle, and that was a great one to learn how to do. Everything came off the front nice and easily, really nice little project. Refreshed all the pulleys on it. I put a 17% smaller supercharger pulley on it to give it a bit more power. I've upgraded the injectors on it. Still need to get tuned, and I still need to do body work on it. Refurbish the wheels. 6 years passed, and every now and then I look at it and think, one day. Then in September 2022, I finally decided enough was enough. I ordered a brand new galvanized chassis, and the project was happening. After months of waiting, it finally arrived. I was buzzing. I couldn't wait to get started, and then disaster struck again. In 2022, a storm brought down a tree straight onto the barn where the Land Rover was homed. The barn itself was an old World War II asbestos handcraft hut, and the impact left a huge hole in the roof and cracked on the entire side of the building. It was made safe and temporarily sealed, but I really didn't want to be working inside of it. The garage was already packed full of loads of tools and camping gear, so once again, the project stopped. Then in January 2024, my mate Jamie came to the rescue. He had access to a workshop in his parents' farm. He had a 2-post lift, an inspection pit, plenty of room, and pretty much every piece of heavy-duty farm equipment you could ever need. It was perfect. We dragged the Series out of the barn yet again and loaded it onto a trailer. The 40-minute journey down a bumpy country road told us everything we needed to know about the old chassis. By the time we arrived, the trailer was covered in handfuls of rust, and it was literally falling apart. And so, the rebuild finally began. Everything came off the old chassis, every component was inspected, anything that needed repairing was repaired, anything beyond saving was replaced. The more we stripped, the worse the chassis looked. Another delay. Work took me away for several months. At the same time, Jamie's garden machinery business had hit a busy season and he needed his workshop back. So, once again, the Land Rover returned home, and yes, back in the barn. So fast forward today, July 2026, 10 years after buying this Land Rover, I finally made some difficult decisions. I've sold equipment, I've cleared out years of accumulated stuff, and somehow managed to create enough room in a single garage to build a proper workshop. And for the first time, I have everything I need to finish this project. And that's exactly what this channel is going to be about. I'm going to bring you along the journey of every step of this restoration. The success, the mistakes, the things that go right, and probably quite things that go wrong. I just want to be clear, this is not going to be a nut and bolt restoration costing £40,000 for it to be a trader queen. It's going to be used. It's going to be green laned. It's going to go on adventures. It's going to go on overlanding trips. It's going to get scratched. It's going to get muddy. Generally believe old Land Rovers are the happiest when they're being used. If it sounds like something you enjoy watching, I really appreciate you subscribing and following the journey. After waiting 10 years, it's finally time to get this Land Rover back where it belongs, and let's get started.